Thank you for joining us live on Facebook. We hope you continue to stay safe and healthy during this pandemic. We'll be starting our podcast shortly, so make yourself comfortable, and if you have any questions for our guests, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section. See you shortly. Hello once again, especially to those who have just joined us. I'm Sean from Penang, Penang's very own Science Discovery Center. With the continued development and improvement of drone technology, a wide range of companies are harnessing drone technology for commercial purposes across industries, from aerial imaging, defense, emergency response, agriculture, to disease control, and many more. These unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, contain a large number of technological components. Tonight, we have Ernest Tay, the student advisor of Drone Club USM, to share with us about drones, now and in the future. As an aerospace engineering student in USM and a drones and technology enthusiast, Ernest is always looking into new technologies, especially in the field of drones, to expand his perspectives. This also enables him to experience unique and also sustainable solutions to current engineering problems. Ernest participated and won first runner-up in the Petronas Technology Challenge. He is always hungry for knowledge and likes to take on challenges that places me out of his comfort zone. Ernest is currently creating a drone that utilizes machine learning to autonomously detect and navigate itself to spray pesticides on palm trees within the plantation. Being the student advisor and also previous vice president of Drone Club USM, he will share with us his experiences and also technologies revolving drones. Without further ado, join me to welcome Ernest to the show.
Thanks, Sean, for the warm welcome.
Hi, welcome to Science Stream. Thank you for being with us.
Right.
Okay, so what do you do as a student advisor for Drone Club USM?
So basically, I act as a bridge between students and also lecturers. And also I bring forth drone technology and share it with students. So basically what I do is that I coordinate activities within the club, such as having drone workshops, drone piloting sessions, and also organizing teams for drone competitions around Malaysia.
So how active is Drone Club USM, and when was this established?
It is a new club. It was actually established 2 years back, just last year. This is because we found that students have less exposure to drones. I mean, because students are busy with their studies and all, they find it hard to get exposure to these new technologies and all that. So we created this club to bring students together and also expose them to new solutions such as drone technologies.
Okay. So, all right. Tonight, we will be conducting some polls to gauge the audience understanding of drones. That is part of the process where you also educate them on certain things. So don't worry if any of you get it wrong, as no one, not even us, not even Ernest or me, will be able to see what you have answered in the polls. Okay, so let's start with the first poll for tonight. Have you operated a drone before? Yes or no? Okay, so click your choice below while the audience starts to answer that. Ernest, so your answer on this, I'm sure you have operated a drone already. Tell us what is a drone, and when did you first, when was it first invented?
So based on FAA's definition, a drone is actually a small unmanned aircraft, which is actually UAVs. So a drone is basically a UAV where it is an aircraft that is piloted without a human aboard. It is a flying robot that can be remotely controlled, or it can fly autonomously through software-controlled flight plans. So basically, drones are classified into 4 general types: multi-rotor drones, fixed-wing drones, single-rotor helicopters, and also fixed-wing hybrid VTOL. As for the question, when was it first invented? Drones was first invented in 1916 by the United States after the World War I. Shortly after, the US built the Catering bug. It is actually an aerial torpedo that is unmanned. The first Catering bug actually flew in 1918, but the war ended before it could ever be used.
So it has more than 100 years history.
Yeah. Quite shocking, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned UAV just now. So okay, drones, quadcopters, UAV. Okay, so unmanned aerial vehicles. Are they all the same thing actually?
Actually, this topic is debatable, but then they have come to a conclusion that drones are actually UAV and vice versa.
Okay.
But then multi-rotorcrafts are actually a subset of drones, meaning it is a type of drone.
How about quadcopters?
Quadcopters are also a type of drones.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I know it's a bit controversial, but
Yeah.
there was a time that our federal government was planning to have a flying car, and a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
commented that actually it looked like a drone, a quadcopter like that. So would that okay? I probably not unmanned,
Okay.
but it could be unmanned as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
somebody could
True.
could just program it and then just put it there and transport somebody to another place using that flying car. So,
Yeah.
so in essence, it
But
is also a quadcopter,
if it's
a
unmanned,
certain size.
then
Okay.
it will be called a drone. But if
Okay.
it is manned,
Somebody
right,
driving
then
it.
it is not really.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
the
if let's
definition
just
of
say
drone is yes.
unmanned, so it must be
Yeah,
unmanned.
unmanned. Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's look at the results of the poll. Okay.
Wow.
50% has operated. Yeah, half has operated. Okay, so we have half that probably doesn't know how to operate one. All right.
Right.
Okay. So quite a good mix of the audience.
Yeah. True.
Okay. Since we know that some of our audience have already operated a drone before and some have not, when did you start learning about drones, and when what got you interested in the first place?
So actually, I started learning about drones when I first visited the lab in the university, which is the flight
Okay.
mechanics lab. It was around 2016. So in the lab, there were many types of drones displayed on the shelves and also hung on the ceiling. So I was like a kid going into the candy store, amazed by all the drones. Then I started watching videos and talks also about the drones. Then I stumbled upon a TED talk actually, by Rafaelo DeAndre. So he showed me that the potential of drones is limitless. So from then on, the passion ignited within me for drones.
Okay. So hopefully that you can inspire some people as well. For those who have chance upon this live session, or even the video after it's posted on Facebook, and after listening to your explanation, to your passion and fire, that you also inspire other people to take up drones.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have our second poll for tonight. Okay, so can drones be picked up on radar? Likely or unlikely? Okay. So, Ernest, you have the answer for that, right? So
Yeah.
we'll explain that after that. Okay. So drones have its beginnings in the military. Okay. Hobbies have now jumped in the big way, right? A lot of people can own a drone now, and also they are using it already. What are other useful applications that drones are used for?
So like just now what I say, the potential of drones are limitless. So we can use it for applications such as delivery, like the ones in Post Laju and all, they were testing drones that could deliver stuff, packages, and also mails. We can also use it for disaster management. So, for example, there's a forest fire, and you need data on the fire itself in the forest. So, the first thing you could send, and it is the fastest, you could send the drones to go and capture pictures on where the fire is going on accurately. You can also use it to do search and rescue. So you can use the drone to search for humans that are lost in forests and all that, or maybe in buildings. So because drones have the flexibility of going near and also very high up to buildings, or maybe search through forests easily and all that. So we can use it for search and rescue. It is also used in law enforcement. So previously I was walking in the supermarket, night market actually. Then I realized there was something blinking above the sky. Then I was wondering, what is that? Oh, it was actually a drone. Drone used to monitor people below, so that if there's any, in case there's any fights or any robbery going on, right, the thing is actually video recording us. Yeah, so it's monitoring us remotely, which can
Okay.
help improve police action and also efficiency.
Yeah,
Other than
I
that,
think
hmm,
yeah, I think that's what our own police force has been using during the MCO as well. And in a way,
true.
at a distance, they can keep their safety, in check as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also, we have heard also in Hong Kong during the riots there, the protests, that the police actually do use the drones to monitor and keep the safety. You were saying
yep.
that there are other applications.
There are other applications too, like what I'm doing actually, precision agriculture. We can use drones to, for example, like in my case, I use drones to spray pesticides. But other than that, you can use drones to monitor the health of the plants. You can also monitor the spacings between the plants and all that. Yeah. So precision agriculture is also one of the applications. Then there is also wildlife monitoring. So instead of going close to the animals and all that, you use a drone. So it saves you in a way.
Uh,
Then
But
there is also
the
hmm?
the drones being quite loud with the all the rotors
Yeah.
spinning, would that actually get the animals, the wildlife, excited or worried?
Actually, yes, if it's quite close to the animals, because I've tried before flying around my campus, and animals like birds and all that start getting aware, and after that they kept flying around. Yeah, but then if you are taking it from a distance, I think it will be okay, and it won't disturb the animals also. Yeah.
Sorry,
Then
I interrupted.
the last one would be aerial photography and filming. So
Hmm.
actually, many films are actually taken using drones.
Yeah, this was mentioned, I think, our last episode, whereby um, uh, he showed a video, a photo of a cameraman on a helicopter. So he mentioned that
Yeah,
now you don't need that anymore. You don't need to hire a helicopter anymore. You don't need to hire
true.
a cameraman that knows how to handle a camera in
Pilot
a
a
helicopter
drone.
anymore. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
just need to learn how to pilot a drone, and then you can
Yes.
already take your videography skills to the air already.
Yeah, true, true, true. And filmmakers actually welcome all this because it is much cheaper, so cost
Yeah, to
effective, I
hire,
would say.
correct. If
Yeah.
you hire a helicopter, will be very, very costly and probably dangerous as well,
Yeah. True,
hearing so
true,
many
true.
air crashes involving helicopters. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's
Hmm.
see what the audience say. Okay,
Whoa.
so two-thirds say it's likely to be picked up by radar. One-third says no. So Ernest, can drones be detected using radar?
The answer is yes. This is because there are radars that are made specially to detect drones and all that. But the problem comes when you have a small micro UAV. That's why people are trying to make UAV smaller and smaller for surveillance missions. Because sometimes radar may pick it up as birds or any other flying animals or insects or what. Yeah, so when it's that small, it is really hard to tell. But then normal UAVs, they can be detected by radar. So I would say it is likely to be detected by radar.
But I mean, a drone will fly quite differently from a bird. So if somebody will observe the radar, you will probably be able to distinguish that that is not a living thing. Because a living
True.
thing,
But then there
straight.
is one special type of UAV actually, which is the
Okay.
flapping wing.
Ah.
It flies like a bird, and some flies like an insect. So yeah, it is hard to tell with just a radar, unless you're looking at it. Like yeah.
Okay, so just now we explored, as big as a car, that can still be a UAV if let's just say it's unmanned.
Yeah.
So how small can it be? How small can one item be considered a drone?
Based on what I know, UAV can go until a few cms only.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it can be as big as just a few centimeters. So it is really fantastic where they can cram all the stuff required for a drone into such a small form factor.
So that is something that you have seen in person, lah. You have really seen that small thing, or is you
Yeah,
were to
yeah,
share?
I've seen the small one, but then
Okay.
I've also seen small flapping wing UAVs also through videos lah.
Because this is what we have seen in spy movies before. You have a small insect that will fly close by. So these are quite real. They are
Yeah,
already in existence.
true. But then there are limitations to being so small. Yeah,
Probably they cannot fly and be operated for a long period of time because of
yeah,
the
true.
small
The
battery.
small capacity. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So. Uh, you mentioned about your research just now. Okay, maybe you
Oh yeah.
can tell us more about the research that you are working on. This is part of your final year project.
Yeah. Actually, it is my final year project topic. Actually. So the topic
Oh,
is actually a camera-aided flight control and navigation system for UAV in sustainable oil palm plantation.
okay.
So basically, the project is about creating a drone that utilizes machine learning so that it knows that it is detecting a palm tree. It understands what is a palm tree. Then after that, it will navigate itself towards the palm tree and spray pesticide on it. But then the navigation process involves GPS and also object distance measurement system using a drone's monocular camera. That is the hard part actually, because using just one camera, it is hard to have a sense of depth. So I have to formulate something that could let it detect the depth of the camera and the drone. I mean, the drone's camera and also the plantation, the oil palm tree, then navigate itself to there.
So how big is this device that you have crafted? Is it huge? Because it's carrying the pesticide as well, right?
Yeah, but then for now, I'm only focusing on the software part. I have yet to go to the hardware part actually. So
Okay.
I'm at now this stage. I'm actually trying to find the most suitable object detection model to be loaded into the drone.
Okay. But if you were to envision it, how big? Because I'm sure you would have
It
to.
would
Although
be
you're working on the software,
Yeah, true. It would be big. I mean, maybe 80
A meter,
cm apart. Yeah,
close to a meter.
because it has to carry a heavy load like the pesticide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. How long do you think that is? How far is it able to operate? How long with that uh, weight load?
With that weight load, I would say maybe at most would be around 20 to 30 minutes. That is the maximum, really. Yeah,
Mm.
because I have to factor in the weight of the battery also. If I add more and more, it is not
Yeah.
gonna help also. Yeah, it's gonna add on to the weight also. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have to find the sweet spot between the amount of pesticide I'm gonna put on top and also the amount of battery I'm gonna put on the drone itself.
So they just need to come back, charge, and then
Yeah,
go and do
recharge
it.
or maybe refuel either one.
Or have, but I would suppose since it's flying now, as
Mm,
opposed to somebody who is walking or on a bike or on a vehicle
mm.
doing this, you'll probably be faster also. I think that's one of the reasons why you're doing it as well.
Yeah,
And you don't need somebody because it's using machine learning really. So
yeah.
you actually do not need somebody to fly the drone. It actually flies on its
Mm.
own.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That
that is
is actually the point of this project actually, just to reduce the time and also reduce the redundancy of the sprays, because sometimes you don't know which conventional methods are actually just to spray all, but then sometimes there's no tree over there or maybe the tree is already dead and something like that. Yeah, so this is to eliminate all this.
so your machine learning will also identify dead trees lah. So it doesn't mean that oh it looks like the shape of a tree, so let's go and spray. So
Because
you
usually
are
dead trees, yeah, actually,
so you're
because
going to
I
put it
train
in the
using
right way.
healthy trees. Yeah.
Okay, so you identify
Mm.
that maybe the fronts are very uh, saggy or things like that, then or, or it's brown or something like that, then you will choose not to.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Um, you mentioned a bit, there's machine learning and things like that. Okay, maybe let's go back to a
Mm.
bit of the basics of drones. Tell us about the
Okay.
science behind a drone. How does it fly, and how does one control it? So you have shown us how it can be autonomous, but generally that's not how it is. Especially the hobbies when they like to
Yeah.
control it. So elaborate on this for us.
Okay. So for this context, the drones would mean quadcopter. Okay, with four propellers, rotors. Okay. So drones use these rotors. These four rotors, it acts as fans. So it pushes the air down. The blade pushes the air down and forces the drone to go up. This is the basic idea behind the lift for the quadcopter.
So
So
it still uses okay. So it has aerodynamics inside. It also applies Bernoulli's principle.
yeah. So basically, when you push the air downwards, right, the pressure down there is going to be higher. So it will put that pressure will push the quadcopter up to a region where the pressure is lower. So if it keeps spinning, the pressure down there will always be higher until an equilibrium point where the drone will hover. Yeah. So the drone can actually do three things. I mean, the basics is to do three things. So it can hover, climb, or descend. So climbing means the net thrust of the four motors are actually higher than the gravitational force. So it pushes. So you imagine this is a drone, okay? So when the pressure downwards is higher, it pushes the drone upwards. Okay, the rotors pushes the drones upwards. then the force is actually stronger than the gravitational force. That's why it climbs. Then the opposite happens when it tries to descend. So the gravitational force is actually pulling it down slowly, counteracting the force created by the rotors. So to hover, the net thrust is the same as the gravitational force.
So, okay, we also, during the introduction, mentioned about the Petronas technology challenge that your team participated and was the second runner-up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you can tell us more about this challenge.
So this challenge is actually to create an autonomous drone that is capable of performing ultrasonic thickness measurement at a height where humans are usually it is usually hard for humans to reach, and it could only be reached through abseiling. You hire professional abseilers to go up and measure it. So instead of doing it, hiring humans to do it, we use drones. So this is the idea of the competition. So for this competition, we were actually tasked to manually pilot a drone to avoid obstacles and also touch the sensor board, which is the one in green, the round circle one in green. Then after that, we are supposed to touch the sensor board for at least 5 seconds until a beeping sound is heard. That indicates that 5 seconds already reached. So the second part of the competition is where the challenge comes. It is to design an autonomous program to complete the course within the shortest time possible. So using this autonomous, we use April tags for as indicators. So the April tag, by detecting which April tag it looks at, it is going to perform a series of functions. So that's how my team control the drones. So we use their in April tags. So their April tags will be sticked on in front of the sensors and also the obstacles. So through that one, we know what the drone knows what to do after when it detects the April tag.
So when did this competition happen?
When did this competition
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
It happened
When was
last
this?
year.
Okay. So it was in 2019.
Yeah, it happened around 2019.
So all of those were also undergraduate students of USM, your classmates.
Yeah, all the team members are actually my classmates. Yeah, all
How did
undergraduates aerospace engineering.
how did you find out about this competition?
So
And
this competition was actually promoted by my lecturer, which is the one wearing red.
uh,
His name is Dr. Ho. So he he told us about this competition and asked us whether we wanted to join or not. Then I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. So why not I take it? I can learn many things on the way also. So then we joined we gather people to join the competition and we form a team. Then after that, we received some guidance from him in as to how to program the drones and all that.
so congratulations are in order, although it's already the following year.
Yeah.
I'm sure that experience has put you in good type, and probably that also helped you to figure out that this is something that you want to do for your undergraduate thesis.
Yeah, true. So actually after the competition, right, then I realized the future will be all drones, machine learnings, and all the AI stuff. So
Autonomous.
then yeah, autonomous piloting and all that lah. So then after that, I thought about it. I was thinking like programming is hard, but then I think I should challenge myself. So I took the FIP topic.
Yeah. So last week we actually have the topic was on coding, and then we did ask the audience, do you find it actually difficult to program? So they are quite a lot who has the same thought as you as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll have our last poll for tonight, but not the last question. The last poll for tonight. Right. True or false? There is a maximum permitted height of ascent. What you mentioned, you call it climb, right? For
Yeah.
drones in Malaysia. Okay. So the audience, you know what to do. Click on your answers down below. Okay. So Ernest, what would you say is the greatest limitation of drones today?
The greatest limitation for drones today, for me, is actually battery technology. So nowadays, commercial drones can fly at most about 30 minutes. Maybe some can stretch out to 40. Factoring out all the military drones that uses other sources of energy and all that. So you might think that adding more and more batteries, we can fly longer, but that is actually only to a certain extent. Yeah. So because the more batteries we add, the heavier it becomes, and that is just one of the issues actually. The more batteries you add, there is also heating issues to factor in. Okay, and drone batteries usually uses lithium polymer technology. That is how it allows energy to be stored in such a small package. But then there's also many risks that comes together. So it is known to catch on fire, and once punctured, it can catch on fire also. And also, there's this problem like, okay, when a drone battery is left at zero charge for too long, right, it becomes dead.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like when you imagine you didn't touch your drone. For my case, I didn't touch my drone for because of MCO for 3 months. The battery was left at zero, and yeah, now it's dead. So I have to get new ones and all that. It is costly. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
remember to
agree.
always keep the
Charge your
battery charged. Yeah, at the optimal level, because there will be indicators.
Yeah, we do have the Tello, and I think it takes 2 hours to charge one.
Yeah.
So, but
True.
it only takes 15 minutes to drain the battery.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like it is so. I mean, inefficient. I would say it's very inefficient.
Do you think Elon Musk is actually looking into improving the efficiency of batteries?
Batteries. Yeah.
Yeah. So
True.
do you think he will make a great breakthrough that will revolutionize how we store energy?
I think so because there have been talks about I think graphene batteries or something like that. Graphite batteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
graphene.
Then there is also as far as I know, the battery technology is in Tesla is one of the world's leading battery tech. Yeah, they have the they have the most efficient batteries.
Okay. All right. Let's look at how the audience answered for the poll. 100% says that it's true that there's a maximum
Oh,
permitted height of ascent. So, uh, are there any laws or rules governing the flying of drones in Malaysia? What's the maximum permitted height of ascent for drones in
so
Malaysia?
stated in CAAM's website, it is actually 400 feet above ground. That is the maximum we can go. But there
Okay.
are also other rules where you cannot fly in designated areas. You cannot fly in airspace class A, B, C, or G also.
Okay.
Okay,
What
there are
ABC or
many rules.
what was A, B, C, or G?
So for the classification, right? Hold up, yeah. So A, B, C, or G actually represents airspace such as what's that called? The
By commercial
airports.
airport. Okay.
Yeah, commercial airports, military bases, places that are illegal, I would say, which are sensitive to fly at.
But how would the public actually know? You don't have all these signs up in the air, so how would the layman know where they can or cannot fly? Or they'll just find out the hard way where their drones get shot off from the sky.
There's actually an app. I'm not sure what it is called, but there's an app, if I'm not wrong, that tells you where you cannot fly. Actually,
Okay.
I think it's an app by
So
DJI, if I'm not wrong. But I'm not sure whether Malaysia is. I mean, the area within Malaysia is in the app or not.
if they updated it or not. So I mean, usually
Hmm.
places which are considered sensitive. So airports are very easily identifiable. Uh,
Yeah.
Army base camps, they'll probably be quite identifiable as well. But
Hmm.
they actually use this map and then identify, oh, why is this a sensitive area? So this is a sensitive area, so it means something secretive is here. Could that
True.
not be?
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think maybe embassies you cannot you will not allow drones flying
Yeah.
embassies, but all these are identifiable because the
Hmm.
front of it you know that this is an embassy and things like that. But you do not have that for those other locations which you want to keep it secret. So I guess if anyone is curious enough, they can actually go through this to find out where are the secret locations.
Yeah. True. True. And
Okay.
actually, there are actually many more areas that they cannot fly at, such as residential areas,
Okay.
places that are for recreational purposes,
So parks,
commercial, and also industry. Yeah.
so parks not able to do that also.
Parks you can fly, but then you have to make sure that you don't fly over an assembly of around 1,000 people.
Okay.
And also, you shouldn't actually you shouldn't fly within 50 meters of anybody. But
Oh,
then this is actually really hard to implement. Yeah, if not, drones wouldn't be able to fly anywhere.
correct, correct. Because it's
Yeah,
residential area also. That puts up a lot of locations as well already. Because if
yeah, true, true,
people
true.
fly within their compound or within the
Hmm.
apartments compound and things like that. So if there's a limitation, then I mean I can understand why there should be a limitation for this. We don't want to
Hmm.
have prying eyes.
Yeah, 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 true. I mean, like, look, everybody wants their privacy to be kept, right? Yeah.
We mentioned about limitations just now. So we actually have a question by an audience asking about
Hmm.
magnetism. Okay, so
Okay.
Stephen asks, hi Ernest, it seems like some drones can fly up high, say 2 to 3 meters high, and was told that this might be a magnetism zone. Is that true and why?
Yes. Magnetism. Actually, this is the first time I've heard about this magnetism affecting a drone's flight. Because I've seen drone technologies that uses wireless charging. Yeah, it uses the magnetic flux to induce electricity to the drone while flying itself. So I think uh, maybe it could be. I'm not too sure
So
because it
you
may
have,
be magnetism affecting the GPS signals.
or how about the rotors? Because the rotors itself, there are magnets in there. So could it
But
be
then
that?
you would need a very strong magnetic field to affect, yeah,
How
the,
about
the drone
magnets itself?
rotors.
How
Hmm?
about magnets itself? Would magnets attached to the drone, will it affect the drone?
So far, based on my experience, it doesn't affect the drones at all because but it also depends on what type of magnet you put on the drones. If it's too strong, maybe it could affect the electric components also.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
but I have not much experience with magnetism affecting drones.
But I would think we can fly higher than 2 or 3 meters because the
Yeah,
tello that I've flown, it went up to 10, 10.
10 plus.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Another question from Jeshit Tan. We
Okay.
often see news or memes on Facebook whereby hobby drones are lost during navigating. How likely is this happening? Have this happened to you before? Oh,
There were actually a few times where the signal of the drone was lost from its
too
control.
far.
It wasn't actually far, but then because of the interference from other satellites, I mean, like because near the place I fly, sometimes uh, I fly too close to antennas and all that, right? Then when I use Wi-Fi, because the drone I use is actually the Parrot Anafi, we can choose to use Wi-Fi or RTF, which is the radio transmission. So sometimes I forget to put on the radio transmission. I use the Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi had limited range, right?
Yeah,
So when the interference is too strong, like there is a very strong Wi-Fi zone there, my Wi-Fi signal gets weak. So
yeah,
the drones actually flew halfway. Then after that, it lost connection and it dropped on a tree.
yeah. I think I've heard quite a lot of that happening as well because
Yeah,
now every home does have Wi-Fi and also some
yeah,
routers inside as well. So you have a lot of Wi-Fi in a very small
true, true.
location.
So it is
Maybe
usually it's advisable to use RTF lah,
if
to
there's an
connect
option.
drones instead
Yeah.
of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so I guess this is in a way a slight deterrent. You have some protection for the residential areas. So
Hmm.
your Wi-Fi can actually protect you from the drones prying on you.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. We
true.
have two questions from Joanne. It's regarding her kids. Okay. So my kids love drones and always intrigued by people flying them. How old would you suggest kids start learning about drones? Okay. So this is the first question. And the second
How?
question, is there like a gathering in USM playing drones? Can public visit and just go watch and learn?
Uh, okay, so I'll answer the first question first. So as to the age to fly a drone, right? I think we can start very early, maybe when you are just standard one, 7 years old, or maybe even younger than that with supervision. So you could start with a simple drone first that can hover itself instead of those manually controlled ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So always be by the side of your children when they are playing the drones. Once you keep it in your line of sight, right, it is safe to an extent, really. And always remember to buy a cage, if possible, a full body cage for the drone so that you don't hit anyone or anything while the children is playing with it. So for the second question is sorry, Sean, can you repeat the second question?
Yeah.
Right. So it is about USM playing drones and whether you can go in or not.
Yeah,
Whether
or
we
anywhere else
whether
lah.
yeah, so
Anywhere else.
usually we have our piloting lessons, right, in the school compound. So I'm not too sure whether public is able to come in like that just to watch and all. But then we are always having flying classes. We try to have it as much as possible because there are people that are talented in drone piloting, and also there's a lot of people that wants to try to pilot drones. So sometimes when I'm flying, right, and somebody else wants to fly, just very eager to try. So I'll just let them try. Yeah, because I mean it is a great experience flying a drone, especially when you look through the screen and you see what the drone is looking at, like a whole different perspective.
Yeah, like you're flying, like you're a bird, like you're Superman.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
So yeah, so for those who wondering what Ernest was saying, so this is actually a drone, and then this is the protective cage. So
That's
yeah,
protective.
we have the tello, and then we have the protective cage also. So we will be using this for a traveling exhibition soon.
Oh,
Yeah, and we have
that's
we
great.
have conducted a few drones workshop in the past, and they've been quite popular. Uh, we have our limitations on how many we can accept. The reason is what we did was we tore apart the whole drone, and we got the participants to reassemble them, and we actually coach them bit by bit all the different parts. What do they do? So they actually understand the inside of it and all that. In fact, this was actually developed by one of your seniors at engineering campus in USM, also aerospace engineering. So he came up with this workshop. Where he's also very passionate about drones.
Yeah.
So he came up with this workshop. So we tore the thing apart, get them to put together, understanding the parts, and then they have to fly. So it's not the one that you mentioned, like the tello, where you can hover it on its own. This one you really need to learn how to fly, but it was cheap. So maybe one of the reasons why they like to sign up for this also is because you get to bring back the drone, so the drone is yours, and the workshop is about thereabouts of 100 ringgit. So it was a very low entry for them lah. That they find that they can learn about drones, they can also own the drone. But flying it is actually very difficult. We actually do teach them how to fly it as well, but a bit more difficult. But my philosophy is it's cheap enough. It's okay. You can spoil it. It's not going to be so painful. But after you understand it already, then you can advance to a DJI, a tello,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
so so that time you don't feel that your investment is so painful. But of course the cage will help a lot.
Cage. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even if it runs out of battery, so this will be quite safe. So however it bounce off, so it's quite safe.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All right. See if there are any other questions from the public. Okay. So let's wait if there's any more. Okay. So I guess if someone is interested in drones, right? What would your advice be to them?
If they are interested but they have difficulty in buying a drone, I would suggest them download an app from the App Store. It is called FPV Free Rider Free. So it is actually an
FPV.
app.
FPV.
Yeah, FPV.
Finland,
No,
Penang.
no. So it is actually a drone simulation app where you can control the drone. So, for example, it is like you are the pilot. You pilot the drone within the app and flying around obstacles and all. So from there you can get something sort of the real experience of piloting a drone, because it is actually quite accurate and it's really hard, where you have to hover yourself, maneuver it around, and you are free to do anything you want within the app
Okay.
itself. But then, other
So
than if you have more, yes.
I see that DJI has this DJI digital FPV system. Would that be the one? So you're going to you'll be using the controller as well, or?
No.
Control.
You'll just be using virtual joystick on the screen itself.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have more money to spare, I would suggest you could buy a recreational drone like the Tello. So actually the Tello allows you to program it also. So it can be programmed by Scratch, Swift, Python. So you can start from there too. And the best part about the Tello is actually, you can get a cage. It is safe to play and it can harvest on its own. So I think it's a great start for those who are really fresh to the experience of drones.
Okay. So it's actually first person view. FPV means first person view.
First
Is that
person
right?
view, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for those on Android, you can actually look for this app. Is this the app that they can actually download and use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Uh, sorry,
yeah.
there is another app. Try typing FPV Free Rider free.
Okay.
Yeah, Free Rider free. Yeah, the one. Yes, that one. So actually, I started with that app first. Then only I bought my Tello.
Okay. So I'm assuming that this is also available for those on iOS.
About that, I'm not too sure because I'm using an Android phone. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
We seem to be able to find the FPV free rider on the Google Play Store, but
Yeah.
for the Apple iOS,
iOS.
it looks like there's something similar called Quadcopter FX Simulator, but you need to
Oh.
pay five US dollars for that. But the FPV free rider, there's also
Hmm.
the paid option, which is $3. But they have also the
Yeah.
free version, right? So we
Yep.
were advised to
Oh, the
go for
free one.
free one will do. Okay,
I mean, like because the experience is almost the same. The
I
paid
see.
one actually gives you more terrains to fly on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is probably the iOS one. Okay, all right. So we have a question from Aerotech EDU.
Okay.
Where do you foresee drone technology 50 years from now?
50 years from now. 50 years from now, right? I think drones would be the norm. It's like phones becoming the norm for us. Drones will become the norm also. So we can have unmanned aerial vehicles that can taxi people. Our parcels will be sent through drones. For example, there are people trapped in tall buildings because of a fire. Drones can go and save them instead of human climbing up and save them. Yeah, so drones will be everywhere. For in 50 years time, the possibilities are too big. So I think drones technology will be the new norm by then.
Yeah, and they'll probably need people like you and your classmates to come out with new advancements in drone technology, and we'll see it everywhere. So it'll be buzzing here and there. So I guess regulation will be very very important after this, since
Yeah,
it's
true,
going to be
true.
very very mainstream. But if it's like we say autonomous, it actually will put together something that is able to detect another drone, so
Yeah,
it keeps its distance and things like that. Or maybe something like planes, so they know that you can fly a certain a height and things like that.
high and yeah,
Yeah,
true.
column.
Mm.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, Ernest, for spending your time with us for the past hour. Uh, we are close to 9 p.m. now. Thank you for your sharing and hope you stay safe and healthy always. And
Right,
keep your
thank you
passion
very
strong
much.
for drones. And hopefully, in 50 years' time, we see what really the advancement that you have mentioned just now.
All right. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you for the
Thank you.
invitation.
All right, so that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for being with us since 8 p.m. Before we end the broadcast, we have a special announcement for you. TechDome Penang will be reopening on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from July 17th. That's next Friday. So you can now explore, discover, and experience science at TechDome Penang again. With that, we will also be reducing the frequency of our science stream to once a month. So see you again next month for another episode of Science Stream. Good night and stay safe.